Slay the enemies, bury the monsters, rise from the ashes, keep getting stronger. Races run, hit it hard, giving the best shot, going in for the kill, let them bite the dust. Let it all out, our superpower head with the crown. Sorry, not sorry, bow before us, they won't bring us down. We are legendary. We are supremacy. We shine so bright across the eyes, our spirit never dies. We are supremacy, make no apologies. Fight on to the last drop of blood, fight on to the last beat of heart. Life is a battle, win every game with the magic flowing in our veins. Let it all out, our superpower head with a crown. Sorry, not sorry, bow before us, they won't bring us down. We are legendary. We are supremacy. We shine so bright across the eyes, our spirit never dies. We are supremacy, make no Slay the enemies, bury the monsters, rise from the ashes, keep getting stronger. Races run, hit it hard, giving the best shot, going in for the kill, let them bite the dust. Let it all out, our superpower head with the crown. Sorry, not sorry, bow before us, they won't bring us down. We are legendary. We are
Welcome back to MSC 2022. It's been exciting games so far here in the playoffs. Day number 1, a lot of unexpected territories, but what I do know is that 2 Malaysian teams has qualified. But as of now, here in Malaysia, my name is ICBaby12, and that is going to be Eterna on my right, and Naisu, as we are going to be commentators for you for today, the final series of the first day's playoff. It has been exciting ones coming in. But before that, shout out to our amazing sponsors as well. MSC 2022, which is powered by Moontot, and also a big thank you to our official content partner, TikTok Live, partner in esports, Secret Lab, esports chart, and media partners, EGG Network, as well as Me Watch. But before that, we do have an MSC pass for you guys right now. This is going to be a sneak preview for you guys because there is going to be an exclusive Barca skin coming in.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Lots of flair.
Are you talking about the one that I already got?
She mentioned this earlier. I don't know how she got it so early.
How?
You buy it.
Well, I mean,
It was like, yeah, I bought it with diamonds.
I wish we all had diamonds.
All right. Okay, you know what? Who will be the winner of this series? Be sure to let us know down in the comments as well. Don't forget to make your guesses via the in-game esports hub as well. And the correct guesses will reward you with MSC coins. So be sure to do that. And you can use it to redeem exquisite skins as well as exclusive MSC emotes and graffiti. So be sure to do that. But of course, now, coming to this match as well, this next matchup, it is going to be between EVOS SG as well as RRQ. A pretty strong game so far. We know how strong RRQ is, and it's pretty much the only team representing from Indonesia. Eterna,
You don't have to
what
say
this?
it like that.
I don't know.
Why do you have to say it like the only Indonesia? Yeah, okay.
No, it's...
We get it. We get it, right? We get it.
You know,
we get it. Okay, let's just move on to the next topic, right?
All right.
Let's see our predictions, right? Because I want to know, like, how is it on paper? Because RRQ, sure, they are strong in that sense, but I've seen amazing things being pulled out by Singapore as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I really like how EVOS SG, when it comes to their drafting, right? Scrubby Chicks did bring up a very solid point. They draft with intent. However, they had a very near miss when it comes to the group stages. They were on the final series on the group stages, then they almost did not make it in towards the playoffs.
well, I mean, right now we're going to see our predictions here at the caster desk, right? As you can see,
Pretty
it's
stacked.
kind of it's a sweep over
Okay.
here for RRQ.
Yeah, that brings me into a point as well. It seems like all of us are siding on RRQ, and as much as I love the coach coming from EVOS SG, Youngin, my man, but at the same time, you know, it was a very near miss from the group stages. So I can see why, but at the same time, RRQ was just so strong in group stages. It's pretty much a no-brainer not to vote on RRQ, I guess. That's just me, you know, playing safe, I guess.
Playing safe.
Yeah, playing it safe.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But the thing is, like Evo Singapore as well as RRQ Hoshi, they both have that thirst, they both have that hunger to finally win a championship title. But here we see on screen here, it is going to be Evo Singapore. Last MSC, they were knocked out rather early, but they have come back to the stage
From Singapore, EVOS Singapore.
Yep.
with a vengeance.
I agree. EVOS SG, they have a lot to work with. They had a little bit of time to actually prepare themselves for playoffs, and hopefully they are going to be able to overcome the odds. It feels like RRQ is in a situation where they can perform at their best, but EVOS SG is no strangers to the international scene. They've got the experience, and hopefully with those experience, they're able to overcome all odds to come up on top, representing for Singapore.
I mean, there's a theme here, right, so far of just these past few days. I mean, even today, you never know. Maybe they will cause an upset here, despite all of us predicting RRQ. And this is the stage to do it because we've seen it time after time throughout the past couple days, and now on screen, it's going to be none other than RRQ Hoshi.
Four-time MPL champions, champions of MPL ID Season 9, Kings of Kings turned King of the Galaxy.
From Indonesia, RRQ Hoshi.
Man, they are looking strong. They are going through that tunnel with an intent, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I'm looking forward to see how it all goes down, especially coming from RRQ Hoshi, because there is just so much to talk about these boys, because the Kings of Kings are here to party. Are they going to be able to take it all the way, or will they not? It all comes down to this situation, because they are Indonesia's last hope in lifting at the MSC trophy once again. This is what we're talking about, and it's just really sad. You know, I don't mean to offend you, Eterna, but that's part of the script right there. It's literally right in the script. I know you can't see it in front of us, but yeah, that's part of the
Yeah,
script.
I need glasses. Can anyone buy me glasses in the viewer audience? But yeah, I totally understand you. I mean, RRQ coming into the scene, there are just so many questions, and of course, it is none other than the coaches here coming up on stage, Coach Phil, as well as the coach coming in from Singapore.
Yep, Young In is going to be facing off against a veteran in the experience as well when it comes to drafting. Hopefully, he's going to be able to come on top, but as of yet, RRQ is still going to be the team to beat as well. It's very, very huge obstacle to overcome, especially in the first series against them in this playoffs. We know they can go far, but how far will they go? That's going to be my question here. Naisu.
Well, we're going to be taking a look here at the lineup in just a second for EVO Singapore. And I mean, you talk about the teams, the coaches, and I think it really just starts here in the draft, of course, which we're going to have upon us in a little bit. There you go, Adamir, JPL, Sayla, Gear, and Nick.
Yep, this is going to be the rosters coming from EVO's SG. We did see them perform a lot as well coming in from EVO's SG, especially with Sayla being the MVP not once but twice against the matchup with Impunity KH. His Matro has been really popping off, and they do rely on him trying to open up the map for the team to actually secure the victory. So I'm looking forward to see whether or not can they do it again. However, no strangers to the competitor scene are RRQ Hoshi. We have Lemon, the one and only, back on the roster right here, right now, alongside with Win, Clay, Albert, as well as R7.
Yeah, so it seems like Lemon is going to be replacing Skylar in this upcoming game against EVO Singapore. And let's not forget the last time he played that Airtel and he got an unofficial Maniac. As now we're going to take a look at the team head-to-head here between EVO Singapore as well as RRQ Hoshi.
You know, I like that they can do this. I like that they can swap out Lemon and Skylar, because that can play a part later on as we get into the further into the playoffs. And I mean, even looking at the stats here, it's interesting, and at the same time, you see a lot of those green arrows on the side of RRQ, but that's not to say EVO Singapore cannot turn this around.
Yep, I definitely agree. But of course, let's talk about the keys to victories coming in from EVOs on how they are going to win against RRQ. Seems like the first point here is going to be winning at least 2 lanes or not at all, contesting or removing Ling entirely, respecting Albert's hero pool, improve late game communication, and as well as beware of RRQ's early power spikes when it comes to early aggression. Thoughts on this, Arturo?
I mean, this is quite interesting, right? Because if we took a look at the data before in the team head-to-head, it does seem like EVO Singapore, they're better at that first turtle rate. But now we're going to take a look at RRQ's keys to victory here. Never let Adamir be comfortable. We see time and time again, sometimes EVO Singapore, they love to play Adamir-centric. So that is going to be very important for them to recognize. Avoid overextending, prioritize CC heroes, objective, objective, objective.
Well, I definitely agree as well. Letting Adamir be challenging Adamir's comfort zone is going to be the way to go, and it makes a lot of sense considering that EVO's SG, they do tend to lean on prioritizing on Adamir's hero from the get-go. But of course, that's pretty much from our stats and information. Let's take a look at what you guys at home have voted so far. It seems like everyone is siding on towards RRQ, especially coming from Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Myanmar, as well as Cambodia. Everyone thinks that RRQ is going to come up on top.
Well, I mean, even I feel like it aligns with what we're thinking here at the caster desk, and a lot of it is, again, this could be fuel for teams like EVO Singapore. You know, you're going against these giants. This is your time to shine, right? And it starts here. And at the same time, you can think, well, worst case scenario, let's say we go down to the lower bracket, you still have this learning experience. You can look at it that way too, because you can learn a ton by facing a team like RRQ.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm looking forward to see what they are going to be saying, playing in towards the table as well. Are they going to play the triple tank composition again? They did show it during the group stages as well. We did kind of see it as well coming from Todak earlier today. So maybe that might be the go-to strategy. And I feel like Carry is an amazing hero to actually deal with these compositions, but the power spike on Carry is a little bit late and risky, and I believe RRQ has the capabilities to pull it off, knowing that they do have the early aggression. But before that, without further ado, we're jumping into the draft phase as of yet, and this is going to be RRQ on the blue side and EVO's SG on the red side.
Ooh, already bans coming through here for the side of RRQ. We see a 1-1 being banned away, the Valentina, but on the flip side, it seems like the Esmeralda is going to be the choice of ban here from EVO Singapore, understanding what a monster R7 can be on these two heroes, additionally with the Akai as well.
Actually surprised they take out the Valentina. You know, RRQ is the one to ban that out, because usually it is the red side here. But question, I'm wondering, Does EVO Singapore pull out that kind of pocket unique pick this time around, that Cyclops that they pulled out before?
They might, considering that as well. We did see Imbuing KH kind of targeting on Sayla's hero pool a little bit more and forcing him to play something that he's comfortable with, which is the Cyclops, which was pretty much a hit or miss, but eventually it worked out. It was the hero that actually got them in towards the playoffs, so it might possibly happen. I like the safe pickup coming from the RRQ. They ban off the Natalia. They know that EVO's SG does have the tendency to actually play it, and they also respect the link coming from EVO's SG. So first pick here, I'm curious, is RRQ going to try and do a similar approach and just challenge Admir's hero pool? But seems like they're not going to do so. Beatrix is still up for grabs from EVO's SG, but they will take the Julian in their hands.
I gotta say, I mean, this Julian first pick makes sense, right? Even though there are so many other heroes that you can pick on the board. It is because I gotta say, Albert is not too great on those tanky heroes that, of course, is currently in the meta. Last time around, we saw the Julian being played by Albert, and that worked really well, you know? So give Albert a really high mechanical hero, and he will definitely perform. This, of course, is still flexible, so we'll see what happens here as the situation goes on. As a response here for EVO Singapore, will they be picking up that Franco, taking it away from Vin? But the answer is no. They actually will be prioritizing the Clint and the Xavier.
I'm really surprised by this. I was expecting maybe a Beatrix priority coming from EVO's SG, but they pick up the Clint and Xavier, so not what I was expecting. I feel like Sayla's very comfortable on the Xavier. It's something that he does play a lot, especially before coming to MSC from SEA Games. But I'm a little bit curious. I agree with what Ethereal said. I think I've seen a lot of Albert's heroes where he plays a high mechanical on the jungle role. But look at this, their response. It is going to be Lemon playing on the Irrital again. I guess. Maybe? Should be, right?
Yeah, it should be. I mean, this is interesting, right? I'm not sure why EVO Singapore went with the Clint here as a priority pick, but they also lock in this Atlas. So these are great things, but still, RQ, it leaves you to wonder exactly what their game plan is, right? Yeah, we talked about the flexibility of Julian. Now you have the Irithel locked in here. Lemon, I feel like Lemon was the one that debuted that, right? During this the group stages. So it's obviously going to work out for him there. And also, when you lock in that Franco, just like we saw in the last series, a lot of the times if your game plan is to play defensively, Franco is one of the best heroes to just kind of counter that whole concept.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And on top of it all, I really liked how recently in this current patch as well, we have been talking about how the changes has been made from sprint. Every single pro team has been leaning onto the sprint. And based on this heroes himself, Julian as well as Irritel, these are what we call run and gun strategies. And so far, it's worked out for a lot of teams. But I feel like as of yet, RQ is pretty much the only team that still prioritizes on Julian or maybe assassin-type junglers as a comfort to actually play in this series itself, instead of the traditional where people kind of stray away from tank junglers instead of the conventional assassin junglers from back in the days.
For sure. Now we're going to see what EVOs actually is going to opt to ban here. Already 2 bans already designated to take away from Albert, which is interesting. The Fanny ban comes through, but now the Uranus has been banned. So now they are definitely prioritizing and, of course, emphasizing that EXP lane situation, but the Thamus is still up for grabs.
Yeah, what do you take into the side lanes here? Not only that, but also in terms of EVO Singapore, we don't necessarily see, or we don't see a jungle yet, right? So this is going to be, I feel like they're just going to leave it up to decide what does RQ have here, because we don't know, again, if this Julian jungle is going to be a thing, or they decide to take that in the mid lane like we've been talking about. And you guys know how I feel about mid lane Julian.
That's why it's so annoying to play against Julian, right? Like we talked about how flexibility opening picks is just so important. That's why, like, I think about multiple seasons we did see Cho constantly being picked and picked and picked again. Play it on a XP, play it on a tank, play it on in a gold lane, and oftentimes it's kind of straying away from the gold lane more, but still, it's just so annoying to predict. So I can understand where EVOS is getting at as well. Do they think that this is a jungle? Do they think it's not? But it seems like they do play the safe approach by banning off the Fanny and also respecting the Uranus. But this time, they pick up the Grok. This is something that RRQ has played before, but I'm a little bit surprised that they are going to be picking it up for themselves, considering that, is this what I think it is? You know, the triple tanky composition from EVO's SG, they tend to lean off gear for the final pick to kind of switch things around, especially for EVO's SG.
Oh, I don't know, man. This is getting a little bit scary, right? Because now EVO's Legends, EVO Singapore have really, really strong front lines presence in that Grok as well. I mean, I saw that the Grok was open. I would have thought that maybe RRQ Hoshi wanted to pick this up. So with Evo Singapore picking it up, it also denies that away from RRQ. But as a response, R7 is going to be on his comfort hero with the Cho. And we'll see what the last pick is. Lancelot. So
Okay.
it isn't
Okay.
going to be a Julian jungle. It is actually going to be the Lancelot here for Albert.
Okay, this is going to be the RRQ special. They are comfortable on the jungle assassin playstyle. So this is going to be the mid lane Julian, which of course Naisu hates about it.
I don't
And
know. I wouldn't say hate. I just disagree
I-
with it.
Highly
I
disliked.
just dislike it.
I really like it at the same time as well. But from the drafts coming from Evo SG, they were waiting for moments like this. That's why they kept Gears Heroes up for options. Now they have the option. Do they want to go for the triple tank composition? Because eventually, Lancelot can't do too much against all these beefy compositions. They may lean onto a Barrage composition if they want to, but we kind of saw how Todak did it earlier today against the Julian, right? They have this so much sustains with the Rafaela, with the Uranus, with everything, but seems like they are leaning onto it and they are going to be bringing the box here coming from Evo's SG. So that is a good read, but is it going to be enough? Because eventually, into a late game of the game, Irritel, especially play from Lemon, is going to be a key winning factor from RRQ.
I'm curious to see Clay play this Julian. I don't think I've ever seen Clay play that kind of hero. I think that Julian has really high mechanics, to be honest. I mean, he's used to the heroes like the Eve, the Lilia, the Sicilian perhaps. So we'll see how this works, especially understanding, like Naisu keeps mentioning over and time again, that this might not work in that mid side.
Yep, well, we'll see how it works right now because this is going to be the game one. The drafts has been spent, especially from RRQ Hoshi going up against Evo's SG with their triple tank composition. Is it going to be the obstacle? Can they pummel their way through against the Kings of Kings, or will they crumble? Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be game one between RRQ Hoshi versus Evo's SG for the MSC playoffs day number 1.
Triple tank lineup. I like to call it the meatball show because, man, they are going to be tanky up front. They have a lot of tools in their kit, too. And like you mentioned, having a Lancelot there, it's going to take you a little while to be able to penetrate through that defense. And honestly, every time we've seen an Atlas alone, that's quite a bit. Now you throw in a Grok on top of that. Mind you, running the Assassin Emblem, so it's going to hurt. Wow, early play already.
Yeah, already that hook coming onto JPL, but luckily he is just a tank. He does have a little bit pressure onto the side of Evo Singapore, and Albert was not able to get that Lethal Wanderer, actually.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of distraction as well, considering that Win has does this. But at the same time, RRQ, they're pulling out the strategies again. They did this towards Impunity KH before. And, sorry, they did it against Smart Omega, but at the same time, R7 going to be stealing the jungle away.
I like this. I'm going to go back on the point, right? You have Nick running that high and dry. And when we usually see this, with the way that Grok works now and just the damage and the stun potential it has, it's going to be something they really have to watch out for. There's so much CC on the side alone for Evo Singapore.
Uh-oh, but Sayla gets caught in a weird situation. So much damage has been placed onto him, but unluckily, Vin was unable to get that Iron Hook onto the buff like he intended. JPL now is going to be the brunt of it all. Will be first blood here into the hands of RRQ Hoshi, showing their early game aggression.
Oh, this is so smart from RRQ. They understand the timings of their early aggression because Evo's SG, this tanky composition kind of comes up online towards the mid to late stage of the game, and they're taking advantage of the situation. Yeah, you're tanky. We can still kill you in the early games. And look at how annoying Vin is with his hooks. He's just forcing Evo's SG to react to every single movement instead of focusing on the objectives. And hopefully, they are going to be able to respond. But RRQ Hoshi, with so much distraction, they are 1k in the lead as of yet.
Oh my god, that hook connects onto the buff. That is going to be a lot of time wasted here for the side of Evo Singapore, as it is going to be Evo Singapore, though, looking for a trade-off onto Clay. Albert gets one back, but Vin gets caught as well. But the Albert, he will be able to get that jungle, but unfortunately, a double kill has been secured by the side of Evo Singapore. Now, was this worth it?
Oh my goodness, that was huge coming from Evo's SG, but yes, I agree. RQ, they made a little bit of blunder. They got a little bit over-aggressive with the plays. They should have played towards their strength, which is taking advantage of the positions of what Franco can do to the enemy. And with that hook right there, Evo's SG was in prime position, but instead, they redeemed themselves. Vin gets a very, very nice catch on those Adamir, and because of that, that's going to be the marksman down from the side of Evo's SG, and not going to be get traded off as well.
Nice pickup there. I mean, all around, you got to say, it's obviously pretty even right now, but I think, at the time, RRQ has to be careful because they don't want to underestimate the damage that Nick can pump out here. We saw it. He's got 2 kills now, so he's off to a good start. Also, with that turtle coming up in about a minute, they're going to have enough time here to just continue to farm up, and then you're talking about all that CC once again coming into the turtle. Let's check out the emblems.
Yeah, I'm a little bit interested as well, curious about Nyx's decision. I was expecting maybe a Weapon Master try to jack up those Blade of Despair's attack power to build on his defense, right? Even the recent patch, they have kind of nerfed on it. I like how he used the high and dry to use on the penetration instead of building up attacks to build on his defense. So it's going to deal a little bit more damage compared to the Weapon Master to be tanky. So I like this adaptation. Hopefully it's going to work out because as of now, he's got 2-on-1. I'd say it's pretty good. It's working out after all, but as of now, there's going to be engagement.
Yeah, the Iron Hook connects onto Gi here, but let's see what GPL has to say about it. The Fatal Links connects onto Vin alone, but unfortunately, he is going to be the one to fall. Sayla Gear forced to retreat. They are super low as of right now. Let's see what Albert can say. It is going to be Adamir here in the brunt of it all, taking so much damage. A 1-for-1 trade here, Roamer for Roamer.
Yeah, not super big yet, but you can see EVO's SG, they're starting to be very, very scared. They know RRQ is just going so much ham onto EVO's SG, and this is actually good for RRQ because the fights that they're taking is just making so much space to allow Lemon to get free farm all the way on top, and because of this, EVO's SG just cannot find a way to stop Lemon at all because eventually, if this goes on, Lemon is going to get all his power spikes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing, right? Once again, about Irithyll, you saw him just, Lemon came down, he used the sprint, he just joined the fight, popped out the damage, and, he's only got 1 item, right? There's not much there yet, but yes, the way that Irithyll works, and also against this tanky lineup, it works really well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He needs a couple more items to actually happen as well. But as of yet, the fight is about to break down. Clay is going to get caught out. A big chain to disengage. And that is going to be RRQ coming on top. But it's not over yet. Albert, he wants more.
Yeah, he does want more. Sayla is going to be the one to fall here, as it is going to be Albert picking up a kill.
Oh, huge outplays as well. The hook. Ooh, too close for EVO's SG.
I'm wondering here too, if you're R7, right, and you're spending most of your time in the side lane, who do you target here as much as possible for EVO's SG? Because I don't feel like Adamir is really going to be easy to get to. There's so much of it's literally a bodyguard composition for him, and then you always have Sayla there to back him up with all the CC.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's just so difficult to do so, and you can see EVO's SG, they're making sure that Adamir has a comfortable spot, and because of this, RRQ Hoshi, they're forced to adapt. However, the fight here coming in.
Yeah, let's see what he can do, because it is going to be Gear here taken down first. It doesn't seem like EVO Singapore want to engage on this, understanding that they are 1 man down.
So you notice what RRQ is doing, right? This is the true showing of how much experience these guys have. They're happy with those 1 kills. They don't really have to commit anything else. I've seen them do this in the group stages too, right? And they're going to slowly build that lead they have and getting these advantages, especially in the objectives coming up. I mean, we have another turtle coming up in about 10 seconds. They're even just setting up in the right position here. EVO's SG going to sniff this one out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. As of yet, Wins is just a big trend towards EVO's SG's the composition, right? Arguably, you have JPL to actually set up for the team, but the damage, where's the damage cover? They've got 3 really tanky heroes. I feel like they need to buy time for Sayla to actually come online, and it's going to take a little bit too long, but seems like EVO's SG, they will take advantage of Guardian's Barrier to actually try and potentially steal it away. Will they get it?
Oh my god, Albert is able to steal that turtle away from the side of EVO Singapore. So what initially was a good setup, but wait a minute, that Way of Dragon connects onto the member here, so we'll see what happens. It is going to be Albert here looking for a kill onto the backside. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as it is. JPL is able to retreat for now with his life, and there are no trades on the board except for RRQ Hoshi being able to take that objective away from EVOs.
Oh, you hate to see it, but it's not over yet because it seems like a big Dawning Light comes in. They want to scare up RRQ, but from the sides, Clay, he finds a gear on the sides, and Adamir is not going to be able to do much. He flickers away, but this is a landslide we're talking about. He's got all the mobility he can get, and there's nothing they could have done. And EVO's SG, they're just getting crumbling to pieces in the hands of RRQ.
Said you saw Albert. He already picked up the Malefic Roar, right? I believe that's his 2nd item here. So he's obviously going to start cutting through these tanks, these tanky boys of EVO's SG. They've got the 4K gold lead already. It's 8 minutes in, and this is already the start of that snowballing potential for RRQ.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This is exactly what RRQ wants when it comes to this early engagement. We talked about it during the key to success, and they're just controlling full tempo. Their 4K lead is not that much of a difference yet. It's still possible for Evo's SG to make a comeback, but it's going to be very, very difficult because time and time again, Gear, he tries to open up the map a little bit more, but Vin is the biggest threat as of yet when it comes to those hooks, when it comes to those lockdowns and suppression. But now, up on screen, the damage dealt so far, Albert is just doing so much for the team. But hold that thought for now, Evo's SG is going to force a fight.
Yeah, I think Gear was a little bit too aggressive. They're all understanding that he does want to get Lemon out of the board, but unfortunately, the backup from the side of Arky Hoshi was definitely there. We'll see how many times that can be baited out, because that is going to be a huge resource spent. But the Fatal Links connects, but unfortunately, the
Albert.
Dawning Light does as well. Albert is super low, is forced to retreat for now, as that is going to be JPL taken down for the price of none. Arky Hoshi with the man advantage here, but oh my god, mega kill secured by Clay once again, as that Wave of Dragon connects onto Gear. Another pickoff comes into play, but the suppression, the Bloody Hunt, it goes on to the Engage, onto Sayla. 3 members taken down here for the side of Arky Hoshi. Will it be a fourth? Unfortunately, the Iron Hook does not connect onto Adamir, but my oh my, Arky Hoshi onto the next objective.
Oh my goodness, RRQ Hoshi, they're just winning on all fronts. They caught Evo's SG all by themselves. They took them all one by one, and then eventually won on all fronts. Evo's SG, they seem to be scrambling, and there's just no way for them to actually take a fight unless Sayla gets some sort of a redemption point, because as of yet, he's level 9. And the timing for him to pop off is going to be so very far. As you can see, Albert's already level 13. We're almost reaching towards the end game power spike for RRQ Hoshi, whereas Evo's SG is still barely hanging on. So now, let's talk about a little bit more items on how much more that they need. Pay attention to this. Lemon is on his 4th item progression. He's got the Windtalker, he's got the Berserker's Fury, he's got the Scarlet Feather. He's critting really hard as compared to Sayla, who's only got the Clock of Destiny and the Lightning Trunket.
I mean, this is, again, the idea of let's have these tanky boys protect Adamir on this Clint. He's not getting a chance at all, really, to buy time, because look at the pace coming out from RRQ.
Yeah, look at the pace. It does seem like they want to be pushing onto something, understanding that the Lord is marching along in that top side. We'll see what happens here. Evo Singapore, they are on the defense. They are trying to be able to really clear this. They do have Sayla for that bit of range. Vin goes in for the Iron Hook. Unfortunately, does not connect, as Nick is trying to buy as much time as they can. But meanwhile, RRQ Hoshi, they are just taking those turrets one by one.
Yep, 10k lead for RRQ Hoshi. Evo's SG lose all their outer turrets. That means Evo's SG is in a position where they are forced to turtle up on base, whereas they need to find some sort of opportunity to punish RRQ's mistakes. But as of yet, it's so very difficult. R7, he's got the Shunpo. He's so annoying. He can't set up for a couple of kills. The hook comes in from Vin, completely isolates the fight. And Evo's SG, they can't even force a fight just because of how scary being separated from the team can be in all these fights.
Again, this is the strength of Franco, right? I feel like at this point, R7 hasn't had to do much. Neither has the Lemon. He's just been pretty much able to farm up. He gets a couple hits here and there, and that's why he's got those 4 assists. But this is a lot on Vin, right? When the guy gets a Franco, he finds those targets. I mean, early on, he had almost every Iron Hook he was landing, so they just have to follow up on that. Again, this is why Clay is having a good time as well on this Julian that, you know, you guys know that I don't really agree with as much in the mid lane, but when everything kind of falls into place, and on the other side, you have pretty much mostly tanks, you only have maybe 2 damage dealers over there, right? Sayla and Adamir, and they're so far behind right now. You're talking about 10.4k gold lead behind 12 minutes in.
Pay attention to the mini map right now. This is something that's super underrated. RRQ, they're not shoving waves. They're not doing anything. The reason being is that they want to freeze the lane and starve up Evo's SG before the next Lord Pit. And because of this, they're denied so much experience, so much economy to actually make some sort of a comeback. And this is so smart of RRQ. It's super undervalued by every single team. But just being executed for RRQ just pulls it out. But as of yet, on the minimap, you can see as well, R7 is going to cut the reef to try and push the lane before the Lord Pit contest coming from Evo's SG.
This might be another kind of free take here. Now they're going to go in for this one.
Yeah, it might be this. We'll see what happens. I mean, right now we can see that JBL is looking for a kill on the board, but look at this. R7 in the backside is going to use that Wave of Dragon onto Gear. Gear instantly gets melted down by the damage output coming in from Arky Hoshi. One man strong, Arky Hoshi. They are going to look for the engage onto this Lord, and it doesn't seem like Evo Singapore does have an answer towards this.
Oh, this is so very annoying to deal with, and that's gonna be a free Lord in the hands of RRQ Hoshi. Evo's SG just cannot do anything at all. It's just so frustrating to play and see how disciplined RRQ Hoshi is doing to them. And I feel like this is a very tough spot, and they need to find ways for Sayla to get farm. He's now level 11. He's 4 more levels away. It's just taking a little bit too long for him to come online, and I don't think RRQ Hoshi is gonna give them any sort of room because now the Lord is pushing in. Even the lanes down mid until now has not been shoved by RRQ Hoshi towards Evo's SG's direction. That is starving them out not once. That was at least, what, 3-4 lanes of XP so far?
This is getting very grim for the side of Evo's SG. I mean, you're talking about, again, the gold lead is massive. They don't have much clear here, and that's why we see RQ pushing into the base pretty freely right now.
Look how aggressive R7 is in his positioning. He's looking for an engage, perhaps onto Sayla or maybe even onto Adamir. He doesn't find something just yet as the Lord is already able to take down that inhibitor turret in that top side. The Lord does go down straight into the crystal, but it actually gets taken down quite easily, understanding that Sayla as well as Adamir is starting to reach those power spikes.
Oh, this is very difficult, but Sayla, he's just got his Divine Glaive. Looks like they are going to try and force the issue. This item pickup is huge for Evo's SG, but is it going to be enough? But as soon as that came out, you can saw all the reactions coming from RQ. They back off. Okay, you know what? We don't know how strong Sayla is right now. Let's not take a risk. Let's play it safe for now and then live to play another day. This is just textbook plays coming from RQ Hoshi. Despite 15k lead, they're still playing it safe. They don't want to make any sort of error right here, right now.
I mean, what they're respecting here is that Atlas and the Grok especially, right? Because we've seen it before. Clint just kind of have a bad early to mid game, and somehow if he's able to get items as they progress through the game and they stall out longer and longer, we know that a Xavier and a Clint can get to the point where they can actually start contesting. You throw in some lucky Fatal Link setups and even that wild charge from a Grok, there is potential there. And that's why I feel like they don't want to just nonchalantly push in the base and risk losing this type of lead because they are showing just how disciplined they are. I mean, they're pretty much setting up for another Lord setup, pushing the base. They've got those 2 base turrets already. Why not wait a little bit longer?
Yep, 35 seconds left before this next Lord comes up, and Evo's SG not given any room to even push out the lane. Look at the positions coming from Vin and Clay. They're keeping tabs in case Evo's SG decides to push out the lane to gather some information. Wow, RRQ continues to swarm onto his DR side of the jungles to get economy instead of pushing out the lanes. This is just discipline. I would say starvation coming from RQ. This is just,
I thought the spinning was discipline.
It's so hard. So very hard for Evo's SG, man.
Spinning on him. Just flexing on him right
Yeah,
now. R7,
yeah.
Come
knows
on,
he
man.
can't be touched because, yeah, I mean, it's just JPL, right? Lord's going to be up here now. It's pretty much going to be started up by Lemon. And we'll see if anyone can actually get any vision around that area because right now, Evo's SG has to pretty much stick together or just admit it. Like, hey, they're going to grab the Lord. Let's do our best to find a moment for a setup, but it's really going to depend on these tanky boys.
Nah, I don't think Evo Singapore has it in them right now to be able to contest that one. They'll let that go pretty easily. And now RRQ Hoshi has that enhanced Lord in the bag. Evo Singapore back on the defense. We do see a Berserker Fury here being taken for the side of Adamir. Is this a good power spike?
It's pretty good enough to actually clear off the minions, but hopefully it's going to be enough because the biggest important factor right now is Sayla needs to survive. He's 1 more level away, and Evo's SG, the moment they get him online, they just need one really big chunky Fatal Links to completely wipe RRQ Hoshi, especially Lemon as well. If he gets the full combo from Sayla, he might be just as well as be dead. So that's going to be the safety net that RRQ Hoshi is going to be playing in safe. They want to continue with their initial lead, and hopefully it's going to work out. But as of that, the Dawning Knight has been expended. This is going to be prime time for RRQ to actually close up the game.
Yeah, but look at JPL already got concealed play coming through. Let's see if he can actually connect on this one because Clay is in a very awkward position. The Enhanced Lord is already marching down in the mid side, doing the damage of it all. But look at this, Clay goes in
Oh, no,
onto
Gear.
Gear. He gets melted down. Initially, we can already see so much damage has been placed. He is forced to retreat yet again. But once again, RRQ Hoshi playing the discipline game, they don't want to risk it, understanding that they don't have any purifies on their table. So in case, just in case, Evo Singapore finally gets that momentum going, they don't want to make that mistake.
I was sweating in that moment as well, but very, very smart plays of a defense coming from Evo's SG, especially with JPL, bought so much time for them to focus on a lot, and because of that, they're able to defend once again. Yes, Purify is going to be the matter as well, but let's take a look at the items real quick as well. Sayla is down to his final item progression, and you can see RRQ Hoshi, they are gonna be sweating, but as of now, you can see a little bit more confidence coming in from Evo's SG.
Uh-oh, JBL, is he going to go down? Oh my god, that item actually pops up, but he is going to be the first to fall. The hooks connects onto Nick as it is going to be so much CC being placed. Adamir goes down. 3 members, 4 members. It is going to be 5 as it is going to be a maniac for Lemon. Finally, not an unofficial maniac, a wiped out has been placed for the side of RRQ Hoshi, and RRQ Hoshi, the kings of kings, the kings of the galaxy, they will be taking game number 1 against Evo Singapore.
Oh, disciplined plays coming in from RRQ, just like that. You make one mistake, we are gonna close it out. And Evo's SG finally made it. And who could blame him? Who could blame him, man?
I thought there was like a glimmer of hope starting to rise from the eyes of Evo's SG here, but all it took was that mistake in the jungle. I mean, I feel like they started to feel it too, especially after that base defense there at the end. That showed that, hey, we can make this prolong a little bit longer, because as we looked at those items, they were starting to get to that point where the 20-minute mark, you start to complete those builds, and oh man, it was almost there.
Yeah, it was definitely there as well. Evo's SG, they managed to sweat it out towards the 5-item progression. They needed the one last one. If they could stall about, 5 to 6 more minutes, they might have had a better chance against RRQ. But nevertheless, RRQ, great discipline so far in game number 1, and that is an amazing performance coming from the Kings of Kings themselves. Dominant performance indeed, and all they need right now is one more game, and they advance through to the next phase.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. I mean, look how cool and collected they are. Game number 1, no problem, as we're going to take to the analysts. Analysts, take it away.
Thanks, Casters. Welcome back to the post-game with me, Gideon Q, as well as Leo, to break it down for you here today with a solid game coming out of RRQ.
Lemon once more brings onto the battlefield the Iritel with his personal win rate sitting at 100%.
He's looking real good here. I don't know. There is a little bit of theory crafting when it comes down to the lane matchups, and I think Clint is a pretty good one, to be honest, especially with the concept of, oh, you want to run in a straight line? No worries. I'm just going to keep you in place.
Yep, and this brings into consideration and into the discussion the lineup and the draft that Evo's SG all in all brought in. Naisu is a big fan of it. The 3 tanky boys, as he put it. I'm actually a big fan as well. I love it in concept that you're putting all your eggs in these 2 baskets, in the Clint and in the Savior. But in execution, especially if on the other side you have baby alien, Albert's very own Lancelot. Very rarely do we see a Lancelot do well these days, but in the hands of the Sangraja, in the hands of RRQ Hoshi, it does amazing things.
Look, he's still clean. Most people say, you know, in esports years, it's like dog years. It feels very, very long. A millisecond could be an hour. In this case, it doesn't feel like Albert has lost any of that skill. He is still looking as sharp as ever, coming up with big, great escapes, especially with a concept and as well as a really, really tough composition to crack like this one.
You got the Grok on Nick in the XP lane. Nothing new here. He is building into the damage that converts into physical defense eventually with the Malefic Roar and the Blade of Despair. You have gear on the Baksha in JPL. You know what? I think, personally, just for my taste, the Winter Truncheon was built way too early.
I think so too. I think the Winter Truncheon in this particular situation could be an on and off cue, but it gives a very big key and a very big signal to RRQ Hoshi. Keep an eye out for Baxia. He's looking for those engages and then basic key concepts. But I think RRQ Hoshi in this one, they played disciplined, they played it slow, and the slow bleed onto Evo's SG was brutal.
I love the combination between Clay and Vin. They've been working together for the longest time now. It was this duo Vin, also known as Franco Man, won a championship just recently off of this hero. And then Clay, he switched it up. He's used to playing the Savior. Again, it's that combo, it's Franco and the Savior. Now it's Franco and Julian. I love it. The hook, the chain, CC for days. They can play pickoff, they can play team fight, they can collapse onto you. And it was just way too much for EVOS SG, 18-4.
I mean, the execution was extremely clean here, coming off from RRQ, having no holes in their gameplay and backing each other up when it matters the most.
It was so clean. You watch it, you think about it, you feel it. As a Singaporean, if you're watching, it was a difficult game, but the comeback was there. Again, if you're facing off against an Atlas in this current meta game, the potential for comeback is there. But let's look at the numbers. Let's figure out exactly what EVOS SG was putting onto the table here. 35k damage straight up on to Sayla. That's one of the 2 damage sources that they have. And then 41k on to Adamir on that Clint. Pales in comparison to the coverage. I think that word came out a lot in the shoutcast earlier in the broadcast. 41k, 40k, 47 across the board for RRQ Hoshi.
They're just evening out the score. They want to make everybody's stats look good. They got to inflate it so they can make sure they get MVP once they make it to the end of the road. But honestly, for an 18-4 scoreline coming out of RRQ Hoshi against EVOS SG, if you look at the damage dealt, right, it's actually not too far away. With only a 38k difference, I think that's not too bad. It means every single engagement coming out from EVOS SG was getting closer and closer, but then once that lead built up for RRQ Hoshi, it became super difficult, and RRQ Hoshi just didn't want to interact.
And towards the end, I believe that was a Maniac. Did Lemon get the Savage now?
He's getting close. He's getting close.
Okay,
now.
okay. So we ended with a Maniac, and it was so clear that that was the nail in the coffin. Let's see who we're awarding the MVP on to. And pow! There it is! I just mentioned the Maniac that closed it off. It's the Deathless Iritel 606.
Oh, so brutal, so brutal. Lemon feels really clean. He knows what he's doing, but more importantly so, the way he plays around his team makes it so much more. Because again, even teammates like RSM, who's halfway across the map, can still open up opportunities to let the team start flooding it and allowing people like Irithel to really shine.
And real quick, a spotlight on the item build. A shining star in a lot of marksmen's arsenals now is that Hasklos.
Yeah.
We don't usually see Hasklos in the past 6 months. You go back a year, nobody's building Hasklos. But today, Hasklos is so hot.
Yeah, I mean, especially when people are building more into the emblems of the Weapon Master, they want to just max out that attack stat and getting more and more stats to really make that difference. In case you missed out this game, don't worry. Let's jump on over to the highlights.
Playing back, let's throw all the way to minute and 40, wherein we drew first blood. Of course, Albert's so good at every stage of the game. Clay gets away with something that you should not have. And then, again, the punish, the collapse. Look at Albert. Oh,
Yeah.
he's signing everything. Sealed, sent with love.
I mean, it's just really, really smart. The way that Albert is targeting specific heroes, knowing when their power spikes are going to be, punishing the weakest heroes on EVOS SG's side, and then changes target afterwards to allow people like Lemon, who has scaled up, to start running on through. With his Electro Flash, he knows he wants that extra bit of movement speed.
Yep, that's the combo. The Electro Flash, the sprint, and then the energy. And again, this is what makes Hasklos all the more lethal. You put her at a third of her health, he clicks the sprint, hits you, and then he's back on. That's it. I think that's the Maniac to close the game. There it is.
That's the
18.
Maniac to close
18
the
minutes.
game. Ah, so good, so good. I mean, watching RRQ, they basically live and breathe Mobile Legends. If they want to do a challenge where, hey, can we knock them all into one place, put them in one little spot, they'll do it somehow. And even after the Atlas, we saw in that last clip, they kicked back in. It's as if they got everybody in the first place.
Yep, I love that Lemon here is showing us something new. And it's nice to see him back on the field. It's nice to see him here play in the playoffs. A lot of us got surprised. Like, yo, he's playing already. He's in. They're making the 6-man lineup work for him. I love it.
Yeah, it's really, really tough, but we still have another game to go. Let's throw it back over to the casters.
Thank you so much, Gideon, as well as Leo, for that amazing analysis segment, as well as the highlights as well. And I definitely agree, Iritel is going to be potentially the highlight hero of the day so far. And RRQ has made it work not once, but twice so far. So far, I don't know what to think about this Iritel here, But what I do know, there is going to be a TikTok Live Carnival as of now. With the all you gotta do, TikTok Live Carnival is underway. You can also earn MLBB MSC points, and you can also win yourself MLBB rare skins by participating via the in-game event to win massive rewards. So be sure to do it right here, right now. If you want to get yourself a potential new skin, especially, you know, this girl right here bragging about her Farsa skin.
Who?
Wink, wink.
Who?
Aren't
Hello?
you-
Anyone? No.
Well, speaking of TikTok, that last play in the highlights was pretty much a TikTok play.
Oh yeah, R7's show,
Yeah.
right?
And, you know, that's probably going to end up somewhere on your For You page out there. I'm not a TikTok regular, don't worry.
I definitely agree. Hopefully, we'll actually make it towards the algorithm of the page as well, YouTube or on TikTok, anywhere it goes. But I'm looking forward to see more Cho highlights. You know, we haven't seen a lot of Cho so far, and we did see a couple games, a little bit scuffy coming from Orange Esports, but R7 on the Cho just now was super flashy. But now, let's talk shop. EVOS SG RRQ. What kind of adaptations is going to be made from EVOS SG? I'm really worried on how things went down from game number 1, but I feel like RRQ is just such a big obstacle to overcome.
The problem is, like, we've seen the way that Evo Singapore likes to play. They love to emphasize on Adamir and RRQ Hoshi. They're quick to read this kind of thing. So they just like shut down Adamir from the get-go, and as soon as that happened, they didn't have an answer to it. So one of the things was that. The second was the drafting. I would have preferred Adamir on someone flashy that he's more comfortable with, like the Beatrix perhaps. I'm not really sure why that Clint was picked up for them.
I definitely agree, but at the same time as well, who could blame him, right? If you think about it, based on historical data, Franco has had his statement here in MSC. First day, group stages completely ignored. Day 2, we saw a little bit more Franco, especially coming from RRQ. We did see it from Toda earlier today as well. You saw how annoying the Franco can be. So I feel like maybe it's just the Franco, okay? It was the same pretty much for RRQ versus Smart and Mega, right? Game 1, Franco played it. Oh no, what do we do? I can't, absolutely nothing. Vin is an absolute god on the Franco. And then Smart Omega, they adapted, they banned it off, and then, oh, okay, we found how to beat RRQ. Maybe just not letting the Franco through, or maybe even pick it up themselves.
I mean, Franco is obviously a very high priority hero. And, you know, with EVO Singapore, you have to think, we can't just rely on Adamir. We need to be a little more multi-dimensional in our strategy because, yeah, like you said, Eterna, RQ is going to sniff that out. They're going to focus on that lane, and they're going to shut things down. Because if that's your one-dimensional strategy, it's not going to work. So right now, they actually need to just kind of go in with this with a different strategy, starting off with banning out that Franco so that Vin can't get it. And now you can start focusing on other areas because now it makes it a little bit harder for RQ to actually, I mean, just come and just counter you in any way possible.
This is a big chess game right now, I would like to say, because with the Franco being the choice of ban coming in from EVO Singapore, this leaves open someone like the Wanwan as well as that Akai. So is RRQ Hoshi, they're just going to ban someone not on that list so they'll be able to get 2 priority heroes in that second pick? Or are they going to be prioritizing something else?
I feel like it doesn't really matter because eventually 1-1 or not, there's still so many other S tier picks, right? If you think about it, they still want to go for Julian, they still Xavier, they still 1-1, they still Karina as well. Akai is something they can potentially go, but looks like you said as well, good call on the shout as well. They are going to ban the 1-1, means that EVOS SG, they will have their first pick potential, and that is, who is it going to be? Is it going to be the Akai or is it going to be something else? Thoughts on this, Naisu?
There's still Xavier, right? They
Oh,
they like that last game, but still, I mean, you didn't really get the chance to even use Xavier to his potential
Oh,
because everything else was shut down. So it could start here. There's lots of options. That's the thing. It's actually going to go ahead and be the Kai, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Akai is just such a safe pick as of yet in current stages as well. So far, we've only seen Orange Esports kind of adapted it with the DG pickup, which is so good. And so far, I don't think I've seen RRQ kind of play a DG strategy. It's mostly going to be played from the Philippine teams, especially RGPH. We did see Blacklist as well. They do like to play the DG Enchanter playstyles, and I feel like it's a pretty good response against an Akai in the current patch, considering that it's so popular now and the previous patch.
Yeah, it's not below Vin to be able to pick that up. It's just not his play style. So if it comes down to it, he'll pick it up if he needs to. So we'll see what happens here. Araki Hoshi with the first 2 picks. Once again, it is going to be the Julian, but this time around, a little change here. It is going to be the Xavier second pick here.
Julian Jungle.
I hate this. I really hate this because every single time first pick Julian, where is it gonna be? Mid? No, maybe XP. Okay.
Could be.
Jungle. Yeah. Tank. Possible.
I don't know about.
I don't know. What?
That's
what
stretching
hero,
it a little bit here. So Xavier's on the board, right? So you're automatically thinking, is this Julian Jungle? Because that's what we've seen a lot of. It could also work in the side lanes.
It could work for XP.
Yeah.
Xavier as well. It could work at gold lane Xavier. We've seen it happen. I've actually seen a couple games like this. It's weird. It's weird. It's so much unpredictable. I might be overthinking, but yeah. I'm just keeping it open for you guys.
Let's go.
Basically, it's flex, but now they lock in Irithel, right? So there you go. The gold lane once again going in the hands of Lemon. Why change it? Because the guy had like the analyst mentioned, man. Electro Flash, Sprint. You got the speed, you got the energy, you got the damage, and they don't need much else here. I mean, they rounded out with some tanky boys later on. They should be fine, right? EVOS SG on the other hand. I like this. I like this better than their last draft. They have Kagura, so the burst potential is there. They complement it with Beatrix, or are they complementing each other? Because that is a lot of burst damage. Now, what we have seen is Akai show up in the side lane, right? We saw that previously,
Yeah.
and it actually worked out.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here. It most likely will be that Akai jungle.
Yeah, I feel like Akai is in also a very similar spot in terms of flex as well. You can still play in Roam, you can play in XP as well. But what's really underrated about the Irithel right now, and I feel like RQ is pretty much the only team that kind of force picked it as well. Electro Fresh with Split kind of allows Irithel to hit pretty hard in terms of attack speed, right? His attack speed modifier on his passive is based on how fast he runs. The more movement speed means the faster he is, more DPS, more damage. So it's something that they're trying to abuse, but is it trending enough considering that every single team is kind of figuring out the meta? Is it Sprint City meta, which is more sprints, or are we going to see traditionals of like Purify or maybe even Diggy pickups to actually deal and sustain through all this burst potential?
That's definitely the question here, as Araki Hoshi is going to be choosing their last pick here in the second phase. And honestly, they need to figure out a way to be able to get into that backline. Because
My pleasure.
Irithel, sure, she deals
Your
a lot of
team
damage, but
is
she's very
banned.
susceptible to those really good pick-off type of assassins. The Natalia was banned away, which does make sense from the side of Araki Hoshi. But other than that, is there something similar that they can go for? Let's say the Selena, would that work?
I think Selena is actually not that bad, but there's this one super underrated hero that recently got a buff, and obviously nobody picked it yet.
Who is it?
Saber. Just for suppression.
Saber?
Just for suppression.
Tank Saber?
Okay.
Sorry, not even not the tank saber. More like
works.
you just XP maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
It worked for you. You've tried it.
I've seen
It's super
Tank Saber.
underrated, but yeah, it's just there. It's just there. Nobody played it. It's not popular yet, but it's still there as a
mean,
pickup
it's-
potential against Irithel, you know?
Yeah, the downside of it is once you use the ultimate, you're like, what
Yeah,
else
yeah,
do you do? Right? You
Yeah.
just auto attack.
True. And now we're going into the second phase here, as it is going to be the Matilda ban choice here for the side of Evo Singapore, understanding that Vin has not chosen his hero in that roam position. There are still a lot of heroes on the board. He is known to be able to use the Kufra perhaps, but what else do you think are they going to prioritize for the side of RQ?
It's going to be tough, and I feel like based on attack roll, they are going to go for the Lolita pickup. So they are going to go for shields all the way through. Considering that Esmeralda was first phase banned, they can use to optimize this by boosting up potentially a jungle or maybe even Irithel in terms of protection. So I like it because it's a good way to deal with the runners coming in from Beatrix himself. So it's not that bad coming from RQ.
Not only that, but I mean, it's a really reliable CC. Like a lot of people talk about, the shield from Lolita, but at the same time, having a kind of a low cooldown and almost a guaranteed way to stun and set things up is actually very valuable. Not to mention, the ultimate, the Numenon Blast, that also has huge potential for pairing it up with the Julian and Xavier. So the response, okay. I'm sure someone's happy about this backstage. There it is. The Benedetta is going to come out from EVOS SG along with a Grok here.
I'm going to guess who that someone is. It's Gideon, isn't it?
Yep.
Really?
He likes the flashiness.
Yeah, he likes the flashiness. Who doesn't, right? Like, Cho is one of the flashiest heroes, but as of yet, I'm looking forward to see how RRQ does this. I'm a big fan of Lolita ever since they actually buffed up his first skill, which allows you to do a lot of damage on neutral jungle. So I feel like if during clutch situations, when it comes to going for the 50-50 coin flips, the team with Lolita and a lot of burst potential is going to be able to come out on top by deciding when to time those retributions onto objectives. So it's really nice, but hopefully it's going to work out. But as of yet, RRQ, they're bringing in the Paquito. So this might be a jungle No, I take it back. I'm just kidding. It's Albert playing on the Julian jungle.
This is our 7th Paquito,
Yeah,
and this
for
is
sure.
going to hit hard. He goes in crazy with those type of flank type of plays, and that is what he is known for. And we mentioned, right, Evo Singapore, they need to find a little bit of layer in terms of that assassin, someone to be able to go into the back line and really target that Irithel, because she is one of the most vulnerable heroes in that position.
Definitely agree, but the draft has been set. Evo's SG, game number 2. This is going to be the respawn with Akai in the vicinity, alongside with the flashy Benedetta that Gideon loves so much. Is it going to happen? I don't know, but RRQ, they are sticking it with the Irritale, this time with the Xavier on top of it all. Is it going to be the game-winning factor? Will they pummel their way through into towards the next phase? Ladies and gentlemen, we're heading into game number 2 between RRQ versus Evo's SG in the upper brackets.
Well, it starts here, and actually, you know, I like this way more. And it's okay. Hold on, it's actually a jungle Benedetta.
Oh.
Okay, makes things even more
Okay.
interesting here, because I was going to get into the point that this is the dynamic that I was talking about, having the multi-dimensional options for you to actually get a win condition. Early action in the mid lane, though, not going to convert into much. But yeah, going back, Benedetta in the jungle could actually end up working out really well, because then even you can transition that into a split push solo decision if you want to, or you can make it work and just block as much as you can, be flashy, use Elect the Final Blow to clear minions. Really, there's so much in Benedetta's kit alone that makes it great to watch, and hopefully it works really well for what Evo Singapore is trying to do.
I'm not exactly sure why they decided to go for the switch up. I feel like based on the ideas coming from Evo's SG, they were deciding whether or not it's Benedetta versus Paquito, the El Clasico, right? But before that, hold that thought for now. Seems like a first blood is on his way. Evo's SG to get the catch right here.
Yeah, the Mystic Fields actually connects onto JPL. He is going to receive a lot of amount of damage, so that will force his retreat. But as of right now, both teams are playing it quite aggressively in the early stage of the game. We saw that Gear was trying to do his jungle, but R7 is going to try and disrupt that pattern from happening.
Yep, it's just so difficult to play this as of yet, but I feel like RRQ Oshi underestimated what Sayla was going to do in the early stage of the game, and JPL playing on Akai right from the get-go. I think it's something that a lot of teams do kind of underestimate. A Lolita versus Akai, I feel like Akai kind of comes up on top a little bit earlier compared to Lolita. Like, you kind of need Lolita on maybe like level 6, level 7, where he comes up online, where his shields start to build a lot in terms of tempo, and possibly when Albert hits his item, but it seems like the fight is about to break down.
Yeah, Vin is going to be caught in the midst of it all, as 4 members are going very heavily onto him. Gear is going to get that first kill onto him, so that is 1 member up for the side of Evo Singapore. They are going to try to take this turtle away from them, but the Dawning Light connects. Unfortunately, it is still going to be Evo Singapore taking it all, but look at this. R7 goes down very extremely, as it is going to be 1 kill for the side of RRQ Hoshi. Another trade here, as Gear is going to be the next to follow.
Worth. I would say that's worth right there. You know, they find that little lead, they find the turtle, and you can already see here, right? They're trying to play on multiple fronts, and even Sayla, this is a lot more aggression and that he can do on this Kagura pick, so it's nice to see here them taking charge this time for game number 2.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This is a different Evo's SG right now, and they can take advantage so much because of this early aggression, right? You need Albert to kind of set up a little bit more, but there's only so much he can do, because if you think about it, Clay on the Saber needs some sort of setup, and the finisher is gotta be Albert. And if he doesn't change his skills properly, things are not gonna look good for him. And considering how mobile Evo's SG can be, especially with this Benedetta matchup, which is kind of anticipated from Evo's SG to be facing off a jungle Paquito, with this switch up, it's gonna put them in a very, very difficult situation for now.
I still want to talk about, again, Nick rolling with this Grok here, has the high and dry, right? So if he's able to find those setups perfectly, or JPL can find those setups. Okay, they actually find him this time. Nick, I'm sorry for talking about it. Yeah, I gave you the caster curse there. But there you go. That is what I'm talking about, right? If he's later on able to find those setups, there's so much burst potential on the side of Evo Singapore that they can follow those up. But gotta be careful. You're the side lane as this drop.
Yep.
Oh man, Albert is already so aggressive. Did he take that buff away? Oh, he didn't. Gear was still able to get that, but on the bottom side here, R7 just really trying to cut that lane, trying to prevent Nick once again from trying to scale in any shape or form, as R7 here in a 1v1 situation with Gear, but now Gear has to be careful here. R7 is quick to follow.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But at the same time here, let's take a look at the JPL's item. He's going for a hybrid regen on the Pull Yourself Together emblem, which is not exactly the best, but at the same time, it's okay. It's the standard meta item pick in terms of roaming. He needs those upkeep when it comes to sustains, and as this tank, he needs to be in and out in all this fight. It seems like they are going to catch on Albert. Oh, the mistakes!
Yes, this is the calm before the storm, as the Numeron Blast unfortunately is going to connect onto a member here, but it is going to be the killing spree as well as a double kill taken in for Albert. So 2 kills on the board for them. They are going to come out on top, and this one as Albert, what is he trying to do here? Don't be too aggressive, as it is going to be Adamir being able to punish them for that kind of situation. But Lemon, look at Lemon. He goes into the fray here, onto the backside. Look at the damage that he is putting onto Adamir. So much pressure, but Vin is here quick to follow. Are they going to be able to take a pick? The answer is no, as they are going to disengage from this for now.
There's still a ton of action up here in the top lane too. I mean, Gear is now going to try to help out because JPL got to be careful.
Oh, seems like this is going to be the fight as well. As you can see, Evo's SG, they are going to bounce back. They managed to punish RQ's aggression. However, the Numenon Blast from Vin is going to lock Sayla, but this is a Kagura. He's going to be A-okay. However, Clay, will he have his dawning light in time? But R7 from the sides.
R7 from the side is going to look for a play, but unfortunately, the heavy spin goes into clutch, and they will be able to protect Sayla for now. It is going to be R7 to pay the price for being super aggressive in that top side.
Wait a minute, what is going on? Evo ZSG, they finally found the cracks of the confidence coming from RKOshi, because compared to game number 1, it was a complete different side, because RKOshi, they had no reason to overextend that far to actually go make for the plays. I feel like it was a little bit greedy for Lemon to get so much farm right there and still be there, considering that the tier 1 up top was still alive.
That's what I'm saying. The thing here, you know, Sayla actually able to play in this game and do what he wants to do on this Mage Kagura pick, because last game he didn't get to. So right now he is going to be that big factor for them while Adamir buys time. Again, it's not only Adamir, right? It's Sayla now. Gear's doing the best he can as well. And meanwhile, they need to focus on Albert, but the top lane could be the next decision for both teams as they're all crowding out around here. Check out Albert. Like I was saying, he's focused so well on these objectives. He's also got 4 kills himself. This is why I think Jungle Julian is so good.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here, as they are going to be trying to contest this turtle. The heavy spin does come into play here, as Vin is caught in a 4v1 situation. The Numenon Blast is going to hit, but unfortunately not too much on anyone. But Gear is going to be punished for the aggression that he has displayed.
Oh my goodness, Gear, that looks so clean with the dodge right there. He was able to dodge it, and he landed the perfect Electro final blow. But like you said as well, the rest of Evo's SG, they were just super stumped. They overcommitted all this because they didn't have anything to re-engage, and that's just so very unfortunate. But it makes a lot of sense, considering that JPL was able to open up and get the turtle for themselves. But at the same time, RKOshi, look at the items as of now, especially coming from Lemon. He's a little bit slow compared to the previous games, but as of yet, he is still slowly building his items as compared to Adamir, who's got a Blade of Despair as of yet. So he's going to be able to proc on this 50% penalty that allows him to hit harder for any heroes that drops below 50% health.
What's working so well too is Albert has he has the early Genius Wand, right? Paired up with Clay, if you get that set up with your chains and everything, you just knock them up. They already have that reduced magic resistance, so Clay is just, as they say, magic pew pew, right? He sends out the dawning light. It's pretty much big damn at that point. So this is really difficult for Evo Singapore. They're going to have to keep that in mind and also start getting a little more magic resistance, because right now that combination between those two alone is doing quite a bit.
I definitely agree, but RQ, look at this. They are going to try and focus more on Adamir. They need to threaten his position, and so far he's doing so well. Vin showing his mark here. Adamir, can he go for the shot there? It seems like he misses the angle. Immediately the shield comes in. The Numeron Blast as well. Ooh. He flickers forward, but immediately Lemon gets caught out. JPL wants to respond, but there's just not enough Evo's members to actually fight this.
Yeah, the heavy spin does come through in order to just
Albert?
save his life, but Albert here goes to the backside. Is he going to get it? He has to be careful as Adamir is there. The Dawning Light comes through, but JPL is quick to dodge that, and no trade has been done here, except that Aryoshi is able to get that. Oh my god, what? A mega kill secured by the side of Evo Singapore, as that Yin Yang overturn was quick to be able to get Albert's life.
Oh, that was huge. That was outplays coming from JPL. They sacrificed the tier 1, but they forced Albert to overcommit. And because of this means Lord is going to be out for grabs. However, Albert is 10 seconds behind. Looks like RQ, they are going to try and force the fight. Adamir, first one to be pushed back.
Yeah, the Dawning Light does come through here. Adamir is going to take a lot of chunk of health here as the Numnum Blast is trying to get a stun onto JPL. And JPL is going to be a bit of a tissy here. Lemon here is going to be stunned. He gets taken down as that Yin Yang overturn once again is going to be the proving factor of how Evo Singapore comes out on top. Arky Hoshi, they are not going to let this slide as a Dawning Light is going to come through, but unfortunately it is only going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Sayla for Lemon.
What is going on? JPL is on fire. His Akai has been on point, setting up so many plays for the team. And RQ Hoshi, despite all this performance, they were able to lose out on... EVOS SG was able to come up on top with that law trade. However, now Albert finally getting the Divine Glaive, we will expect a little bit more damage. You talked about this as well. Clay also going to be an important factor in hitting those Dawning Lights. And see, the fight's about to break down mid. Seems like there is a little bit of scuffle, but the Lord is going to be pushing from the top side for EVOS SG.
Yeah, Gear is at half health here. I'm not really sure what they want to do. They are going to try and wait some time, I guess, in order for Gear to be able to follow.
Albert.
It is going to be the focus here in that bottom side, but look at this Vin here already on engage onto JPL. There is the Mystic Fields that does get propped onto JPL, but unfortunately they do not want to commit onto this as the Lord is just going to be taken down.
This is what I said, you know? Gear's doing exactly what he has to do on the Benedetta, right? Push those lanes out while the rest of the team is focusing on grabbing the Lord or defending, and this is exactly what they have to do. Multi-faceted win streaks here, or win capabilities for their composition. That's what we're seeing. Like you mentioned, JPL is doing a great job here, and hopefully they can keep that up because right now they have a nice little comfortable gold lead, so this will help them scale a little bit, but they have to do this more and more and more because look at the player gold. Right now, Adamir is getting to the point where that Beatrix is getting scary, but they have to be careful.
Yeah, I definitely agree, but seems like they are going to potentially force the fight. Here comes the conceal plays from RQ.
Yeah, the conceal play comes through here for the side of RQ Hoshi, but once again, they don't find a particular target.
Oh,
but it
big.
is going to be JPL being able to bait Vin as well as R7. R7 is going to be the first to fall as Adamir claims a kill. The Dawning Light does come through. Albert is able to trade onto JPL, but look at the backside as that is going to be the Yin Yang overturn, being able to chunk a lot of damage, but it was going to be them being traded back. 2-for-1 trade here for the moment as RQ Hoshi is going to come out on top.
Oh, that was so cool coming from JPL. A big heavy spin using two walls at the same time, locking two. That was huge. However, Sayla didn't exactly follow up into the wombo combo. He chose to actually try and dig a dive on those Lemon, and Lemon was able to outplay him completely. And prior to that as well, Lemon just got his ass claw, so he's not easily taken down anymore compared to before. So it's a little bit different in terms of itemizations. Hopefully, it is going to be a little bit better. But as of yet, Albert picking up his Winter Trunkin.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, this is what I was saying, right? Sayla had that nice, comfortable gold lead, actually just even kill lead, but at this point, right, RQ has pretty much found that out and knows how to work around it. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Sayla to find those moments for the setups, but it's not saying that that can't still happen. Those are going to be big moments if he can find them, but as you just saw, Lemon was doing a great job to counteract that. A lot of early aggression. R7 also does not want Gear to do that split pushing thing that he's been doing for the past couple minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's something that puts off RQ Hoshi's playstyle. They want to just apply so much pressure. But if you think about it, right, compared to game number 1 and game number 2, there's the big difference is RQ Hoshi, they get a big, huge margin lean. And what they do, and ever since they lean, they don't exactly give unnecessary gold away, whereas EVOS SG, they're shoving the lanes, making space, but at the same time, giving economy lead from RQ Hoshi, and because of that, they're able to keep up. And look at this, R7.
Oh no, this isn't good. R7 is being punished for the way that he plays. Evos are trying and starting to be able to read the patterns that he's going for. Arkihoshi, though, they're trying to look for something, but the Yang overturn connects onto Lemon. Can
Sayla.
Lemon get out of this? This is an outplay coming in from Lemon, being able to take Sayla, even though he was in the bottom side of the map. It is going to be Vin here in the backside here, trying to prevent Adamir from dealing out the damage, and it's actually working. The Donny Light comes through. It is going to be R7, though, getting taken down. Vin goes down next. It is going to be JPL, the next on the chopping block. Let's see what Albert has to say. A double kill has been secured by Adamir, but it is going to be Adamir. No! He gets taken down. 3-for-3 trade here for both teams.
Oh, that was a big clutch coming from Lemon. The Haskell taking advantage, just punishing Sayla's play time and time again. He does this every single time. He preemptively anticipated the situation and came out on top. But Evo's SG, what a performance from Gear. All the way up top, taking R7, mix it in time and steals the Lord in front of them. My goodness, let's check out the replay.
Here's a replay brought to you by TikTok. As you can see, this was a pretty messy fight. Nick was even low here, but look, Lemon getting that regen from the Haas Claws, like you mentioned. Gear able to secure that lure, though. That is going to be big. Buys him a little bit of time. And this was just a battle for that objective.
Oh my goodness, Adamir just completely took away 80% of the health in that snipe against them. That was just so unfortunate, but the fight is breaking down as of yet.
Yeah, R7 here caught in a weird situation against his back on the wall as that charge is going to hit. The Numenon Blast does
Sayla.
get popped up, but look at that. Sayla is going to get punished, and once again, the 4th time in the game, he is going to get caught out with and why and because of his aggressive way of nature.
Oh, we've seen this time and time again. Sayla always tries to play. When it works, it looks so good. When it doesn't, this is going to be a payback because Arkiyoshi is going to take advantage of the situation. Evos right now has no choice but to back out and respect all this space. But it seems like RQ, they want to get a little bit more considering that Sayla is down, but it's only 10 seconds on the side. Adamir, however, in a very awkward situation. He doesn't want to be outside right now, whereas the rest of RQ is at their base. However, here, he steals a tier 3 right under the noses. RQ, make your decision. What is it going to be? Continue or back off?
That is going to be the question here. I mean, it doesn't seem like Arkihoshi actually had an idea of that this was happening. You mentioned that here using this Benedetta gave them an extra color, and that's exactly what is happening. And Arkihoshi, they don't seem to have an answer for that.
This is, like I said, this is a great way for Evo Singapore to play around because Gear is doing an amazing job, even though he is the jungle here, because Sayla is making some mistakes that could end up costing them a game. He's got to be super careful because a lot of times, even that last fight, he initiated thinking the team was going to go, and then they just backed off. Unfortunately, he gets taken out here. So RQ is anticipating those mistakes coming out from Evo Singapore, and they have to be careful because the next Lord's going to be up in less than 30 seconds, and look at the damage already.
You know, this is exactly the point you want to get on the Xavier, right? We talked about this during Game 1, especially for Evo's SG, but RQ, they're slowly getting there. Even with the Haskell, it looks like bottom side Gear. He's going to get caught out, but Electro Final Blow is going to be A-okay. It's not that AP. It's difficult to catch a Benedetta as of yet.
I mean, even if you think about it, right, the Lord is now up, so you get a little bit of resources out, but they really have to be careful about the movement, the space they have on the map, because notice, Gear isn't even near that Lord pin, right? So things are going to set up here, relying on RQ to set pace, and we'll see how this plays out. Gear still pushing that lane, but R7 on his tail.
Yep, and on top side as well, based on the items, you can see they're slowly progressing towards the ultra later stage of the game as well. JPL is almost close to his final item, likewise coming from the Grot. Nick needs a little bit more, but it seems like he is going to opt for a little bit more defensive. Now, bottom side, RQ, they have adapted. They understand this is the El Clasico Benedetta Paquito matchup. This is something they got to do. However, JPL on top, he might be in trouble.
Yeah, JPL goes in for a flank here, but it does get caught out. Arkihoshi read that perfectly, and it is going to be that immortality being popped up as a killing spree has been picked up by Albert.
Oh, this is really unfortunate, but it's not going to be over yet because RQ, they still want more Evo's SG. Look at this. Sayla, he's going to get forced out. Can he dodge R7? He's going for the pros. Adamir looking for the snipe. Can't do anything, but the rest of RQ is going to be focusing on the Lord, while Evo's SG can't exactly do too much. But from behind, pay attention to his gear. He's looking for the steal. Is it going to happen? Lemon, does he scout this out?
This is going to be the important question. Is this going to be Gear going heavily onto that Lord? But look at this. A 3 triple stun connects onto this. But look at Lemon outplay all the odds. It is going to be Albert being taken down. The immortality from Gear gets popped off, but another kill has been taken into the hands of Arkihoshi. 2-for-1 trade, but the Lord.
Like, Gear had the right idea.
Oh.
But Lemon, with the speed, that sprint, and just Irithyll in general, how do you catch her?
Oh, that's so very difficult. Evo SG, they're forced to back out. The Dawning Light comes in, scare them off guard. But Evo SG, they tried their best, but that was a very, very difficult thing to do. They had to go for the coin 50-50 coin flip. And despite all that, Gear has been winning most of them. All it takes is just one. And RRQ has got it. And it looks like they are going to be knocking onto the base of the Evo SG. And JPL, what is he going to do?
But this time around, Sayla already has that Holy Crystal, so expect larger amounts of damage, and we'll see if Lemon can actually outplay this one. The Mystic Field connects onto JPL as R7 is trying to do some damage onto him. Unfortunately, the Numeron Blast does not connect, and that is a huge resource wasted by the side of RRQ Hoshi. They understand this limit, and they will be retreating for now.
Yeah, this is so smart coming from Lemon, taking advantage of the sprint game coming in, but he might actually get caught out. He doesn't have the sprint. He pops his ultimate. That's a big catch coming from EVOS SG, but looks like they are going to have to back off as the middle lane is pretty much cleared off, and Adamir has no choice but to defend, and that's going to do a lot of damage on the Crystal. Meanwhile, on the minimap as well, Gear is already starting to make the cross-map plays as of yet, but this time, RKOG, they might be responding to this, and Gear has to be very, very patient about this play coming up very, very soon.
Here's the win condition, right? You can see 4 members of EVO Singapore just staying together. Gear, go do your thing. So RQ has to be conscious of that and not let him. Wow, that's really close right there.
Oh, he
but
does.
this is what they have to do, right? They kind of have to babysit those side lanes because we've seen it happen before where that split push can win a game if you're not careful, despite this lead. So right now, RQ showing just how disciplined they can be. If they want to, honestly, with the base being open here, they control so much of the map that they can just wait for the next Lord to come up and then push in for another turret and just do things slow and steady because that is the best case scenario. Meanwhile, they have to babysit any lane that Gear chooses to go to.
Wow, interesting choice coming from Lemon. Instead of going for the power potion, he opted to go for the rock potion to keep things alive, because as long as he survives, his sprint and his Heart's Claw is going to keep him alive and to progress even more. So interesting, but at the same time, I feel like EVOS SG, they are waiting on those immortality timings. And once that's up, that is where they force the issue. However, with 20 seconds left for this next Lord fight, you can see EVOS SG, they're just so afraid. They want to go for the crossback plays instead of challenging the Lord.
I don't know, it seems like for the way that EVO Singapore is playing, RRQ Hoshi is starting to get a read on it, right? They understand that they do want to be able to take out Lemon in the backside, and therefore you see Gear trying to rotate towards that backside and JPL trying to get rotated towards that backside. But the way that they do that, RRQ Hoshi is able to punish them and eventually pick them off, and then that gives them a man advantage. So now it seems like EVO Singapore, they're looking for a different idea. Perhaps they want to go in just straight for look for a team fight, as now we are going to see as the Lord has already spawned in the Land of Dawn.
Oh, RRQ, they don't exactly know where EVO's SG, because as of now, you can see EVO's SG is so deep into his enemy territories, but at the same time, they're just so afraid to make these plays. They want to see what kind of reactions EVO's do, because as of now, finally, after a long-awaited moment, Gear shows himself in the middle lane, but he's not giving a lot of information, because where's the rest of the teammates? They don't exactly know, because if Albert decides to go for the purple buff, as of now, they might actually fall off, but EVO's SG, they give up control. They're afraid. They need somebody to check the Lord, and guess what? The base from Wind tapping the Lord forced EVO's to back off in this situation.
The spider sense was tingling. They waited forever in that bush and nothing came of it. So now they're just like, you know what? Let's just go start the Lord. Maybe we can force RQ into his mistake. And right now, R7's got to clear that lane out and join the team. His Lord's going to be less than half health.
Yeah, the Dawning Light was there to open up the map, but look at the Lord here. It is going to be chunked down rather easily. The Deadly Spin does come through, but the Numeron Blast connects onto the members of all the members of obviously Singapore. Adamir goes down first, and that's exactly who you want to be picking off. But on the flip side, it is going to be Lemon being taken off the board. 2 members is next, Sayla as well as Nick, and Gear is forced to really run away with his life.
Oh, they weren't expecting this. EVO's SG was so focused on the Lord, but RRQ was so focused on their positioning, and because of this 50-50 play, they got them all clumped up in the Lord Pit, and Clay was just dishing out so much damage. And with this place, it is going to be difficult to defend, because now RKOshi is going to take advantage of the death timers of EVO's SG's deaths. 22 minutes of clock. You can see everyone is down towards at least more than 40 seconds on the death timer.
Man, Gear is doing work this game, because he has not only been split pushing, but he's been grabbing the Lords. Despite those like crazy team fights happening around the Lord Pit, And so he is continuously buying time for Evo Singapore to somehow find a moment in this game. You got to give it up to Nick too, because Nick was able to find Lemon. He has to be able to do that continuously or another time, because as soon as you take out Lemon, your chances of winning those team fights is much higher.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Albert getting his magic potion means he is going to hit a little bit harder. But as of yet, Lemon, you can see most of these team fights, he's able to do a lot of damage onto his Nick. But the rest of the teams, they don't exactly do too much. They rely so much still on Clay's burst potential on this Xavier. And it's understandable why they're afraid to do so. But I feel like Gear is just an absolute monster. He's just doing so much work in all this split push potential. And RRQ, they had no choice but to react to every single time. And you can even see that before the Lord fight as well, they were just so afraid of what Evo's actually can do to them. They are waiting for some sort of reactions coming in from Gear.
And right now, this is the babysitting, right? R7 knows he can't let Gear have free reign. JPL might be looking for something now.
Yeah, Heavy Spin does come through here. It does connect onto Finn for a while. But unfortunately, it is only onto the Roamer. Evo Singapore, they don't want to waste too many resources on that. But the Mystic Fields connects onto JPL. He gets taken a little bit low, but it's still enough for him to progress into the later stage of the game, as Gear is going to be caught out here, is still able to use his abilities to escape that situation.
Yeah, one thing really smart coming from Evo SG is that they've got so much mobility and distraction.
Yeah.
They're trying to force Lemon to sprint as quickly as he can. The moment he pops it off, that's the goal time to actually challenge, because without the sprint, Lemon is not going to be able to do a lot of damage in all these situations. And currently, they're trying to bait each other, but there's just nothing happening. They're just so patient. And who could blame them, right? It's 24 minutes of the game. There's just so much things happening across the map. And RQOshi is just playing very, very safe. And Evo's SG now, Gear, gonna try and shove up the lane once again, but this time with 8 seconds on the clock for this next enhanced Lord, RQOshi. How will they respond? JPL just having so much control of the situation as of yet.
Yeah, there's just so much pressure, so much potential that JPL can have. One deadly spin onto Albert, let's say, is just going to cost them that next Lord. And I gotta say, I mean, 25 minutes in, this is already an involved Lord. So this is going to be a huge taking, and that is why it is very important. Evo Singapore, they don't want to make that same mistake, but it seems like they might be rotating towards that top side as that deadly spin connects onto Vin. But Vin is caught in a weird situation where the members of the other friends are not in that area. Vin is going to be taken down quite low here, as Adamir is going to be also very forced to go back away.
Wow.
But look at that. That deadly charge just goes on very aggressively onto Vin, as Albert is going to be the one to be taken down. And this is good for the side of Evo Singapore.
Adamir.
R7 here onto Adamir, already receiving a lot of damage. But look at that. Look at that yin yang overturn, getting that member down. A killing spree has been given to the side of RRQ Hoshi, though, as it is going to be a 1-for-2 trade.
Yo, Gear is just playing out of his mind, but as of now, he's going to try and take a jab onto his Clay, but this is a very, very tanky Xavier as of yet. But still, his plays down early on with the Electro Final Blow completely cutting off RRQ's retreat, and because of that, they were able to isolate the fight, and that was a huge play coming from Gear to play the map properly. They just don't want to fight in a close spot, because that allows Clay to do his thing. But as of yet, Evos, they are going to get a very, very easy taking onto his Lord, potentially considering that Albert is taken out. This is a huge moment for Evo's SG if they decide to make a comeback for this.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like Albert is going to be there, so the chances of them stealing this is going to be quite low. It doesn't seem like RRQ Hoshi wants to try this, but it does seem like that he's going to be very focused onto Adam here. But look at this, Lemon here already trying to get to that area. R7 is forced to back away, as it is going to be an uncontested Lord given by RRQ Hoshi to the hands of Evo Singapore.
Big play coming out here for Evo Singapore. This could turn the tide of the game if they can be careful enough to push in the base. This would be a moment for Gear to be like, wow, my hard work is paying off. They've bought time. They've pretty much evened out the items at this point with some minor changes that will happen amidst the game. But look at the damage. Clay is still leading that. Lemon as well. Adamir, though, as we saw from the last fight, is pumping out that Beatrix signature damage, so they have to be weary of that. Now, with this powered-up Lord, that's another factor here as they get ready to push into the base.
Agreed. I'm not going to lie. I felt like Adamir and as well as Gear just popping off. Adamir was so close to dying on top, but he popped up Wind of Nature, dodging and taking all the combos from R7 in time and allowing him to actually come online. But as of yet, this is going to be turned around.
That deadly spin into the backside is huge. Unfortunately, there was no one that it connected onto, but look at that final blow coming into the play from the side of Gear. It does deal a little bit of damage onto Lemon, but not enough to take his life. The final blow does connect. Unfortunately, nothing else is going to happen as that Lord is going to be taken down very, very soon. Adamir in a tough position as R7 is going very aggressively onto him, but once again, Nick it goes in with that wild charge. Unfortunately, it is going to be Hoshi being able to flicker away from it. The Noonan Blast does not connect onto anyone in particular. Albert, though, taking a lot of damage, but JPL, he is going to get that popped off. Unfortunately, that Yin Yang overturn is still not able to get Albert's life. He is one slippery jungler.
Oh, that was so close. Adamir as well was trying to make the plays. Evo says she just dancing around with RRQ Hoshi, trading blows after blows after blows. This is getting to a point that is so difficult. It could be any points game, and Evo's SG has been looking for this kind of opportunities throughout the entirety of the fight, and it's just so very hard. We just reached to a point where everybody's got to have those immortalities. 28 minutes into the game, the death penalty is going to be very, very high. You cannot afford to die at all at this stage of the game.
Yeah, which means JPL has to be that much careful, right? Because his was popped. So now if they automatically lose someone at this point in the game, almost 30 minutes, it's pretty tough, right, to come back through that number disadvantage. And the next Lord comes up in 40 seconds. At this point, any mistake is going to cost you the game. R7 even picking up a Malefic Roar here, switching some items around here, has that Athena shield too. So at the same time, he has to be the one also to either help protect Lemon, or even initiate if Vin can't get there. Because you notice they're having a hard time getting to Adamir.
Yep, at the same time, so we do see 4 immortalities up on Evo's SG, whereas RRQ Hoshi, they've only got 3. So the 2 players that has to be extremely careful is going to be Lemon and Clay, because if they get taken out, that's going to be a long death timer before the next fight comes. And I think Evo's SG wants to try and capitalize on this situation. However, a little bit of an item swap coming from Lemon as well, switching the Demon Hunter Sword to deal with this tanky composition, which is known by Gear as well as JPL and Nick on this composition.
And definitely the calm before the storm here, as it is going to be another Evolved Lord here marching down into the Land of Dawn. Let's see who has the first take onto it. It does seem like Evo Singapore is ahead in that type of space, but Vin here is trying to open up the map. He does spot Nick there, but look at this from JPL into the backside. This might be a mistake. Lemon is taken very low, but look at that flicker play coming in from JPL. Award-winning. Sayla here is going to be the next one to fall, but it is going to be the Noonan Blast connecting to seal the deal. Nick here forced to retreat. Albert and Vin looking for something.
Oh, Clay, what are you doing?
Is caught in a bad situation. That back up immortal pick coming in from Clay, though. It is going to be popped off, but Adamir, look at Adamir. Adamir is going to deal so much damage, but it actually is going to be Adamir being the one to receive so much damage. Albert here, is he going to be taken down? R7, it is all just a really bad situation for the side of Evo Singapore, but that deadly spin comes into clutch. R7, what can he do? As Adamir once again is going to be able to take another point on the board.
Oh, what a clutch coming from Adamir. What an absolute performance. Played it so well. Well done coming from Vin, but eventually Evo comes up on top. Adamir lives the Tattletale, but he has to forego and back off and defend. The minions are coming in, and RRQ Hoshi, they're just dropping the ball, and Evo's SG just finds the biggest pick of their lives. However, it's not over yet. Now, the Lord is alive. Lemon is 15 seconds left. Vin is 50 seconds. Albert still has the vicinity. They can challenge the Evolved Lord, but 31 minutes of the game, the Lord is just so hard to kill, and this is going to be a difficult spot to be in. Do they want to force the Lord, or do they wait on everyone? Because they need all hands on deck if they want to cleanly take this Lord 31 minutes into the game.
I don't think anyone's going to cleanly take the Lord here, because you just saw that little team fight. That wasn't even around the Lord pit, right? And right after another, the immortalities were popping. No one could catch Adamir that second time. If they were actually able to catch him, then that could have been most likely the Lord for them and then the game. But right now, you got to give it up to Adamir, playing out of his mind. The positioning is right on point. And at the same time, Nick finding the target. Once again, Lemon is going to be the main focus here. If they can handle that, he has no immortality, right? He's pretty much pure damage. You can see already, they want to start baiting RRQ Hoshi down into that pit. Gear is still at the top lane, might put pressure up there, because they also would really like to get some of those tier 3 turrets down in the base, because it could help them. Yeah. Right now, everybody being super careful for this Lord.
Yeah, the beauty of the Haasclaw, man. Adamir, before that fight actually happened, he was able to swap up his Haasclaw to keep him alive, and that's how strong it is, especially in the later stage of the game. And look at the player goal coming from Adamir. He swapped up his items time and time again. However, hold that thought for now. Sayla trying to make a play on Lemon again. Lemon is just at constant edge right now, where Evo's SG is always eyeing for his life.
Yeah, but unfortunately, a lot of resource from the side of RQ Hoshi have been wasted. So Sayla was able to actually bait a really good resource, even though he had to use his own Yin Yang overturn.
Yep, it's not at the end of the world yet, but once again, EVOS SG, they still have to play this very, very safely. But our RQ is in a very, very difficult spot to actually play this as well. It's just not worth fighting Lord. It's just so very difficult to hit. And as the game goes on by, that Lord is going to hit like a truck. It's just not worth taking the damage. And look at this. They are going to try and bait it out, but damage output, look at this gear. It's just, he is a tank. He's getting hit pretty hard by this Lord as of yet.
Unfortunately, they are one man down here. It does seem like R7 is going to be in the top side, so it does seem like EVOS Singapore, they have the man advantage. R7 are trying to open up the map, but look at how much damage Adamir is receiving from that beautiful Dawning Light. EVOS, they are on the run. They are going to retreat from this, but it might be Gear actually looking for a steal onto that Lord. RQ Hoshi, they understand that this is a huge potential for happening, and therefore will not be able to commit onto this just yet.
Yep, it's not over yet. Adamir was able to regain his health by clearing off the minions because of the hard claw. Fortunately for them, they are able to reset the Lord. That one could have been a disastrous performance if RRQ Hoshi managed to keep on aggression, but it's not over yet. Seems like the fight is about to break down. Nope, looks like the Guardian Bro will save the day. Adamir left alone. Lemon goes for the challenge, but Luminon Blast misses the mark. Adamir is going to turn the tide, but Lemon almost killing him off. Win looking for the play, but they are out of position. RRQ, they are going to try and turn the tides, but EVOS SG, they want to stall this for the team, but Lemon also still alive, but on the sides. Sayla making an attempt on R7 is not going to happen, but looks like they are going to go for reset once again. It's just a full dance-off coming from both of these teams. Nothing much has been lost. It's just been trading blows after blows.
You could even see how careful Lemon is playing, right? Like, he was able perhaps to be able to get that engaged, but he didn't want to take that risk, understanding that it is already 34, almost 35 minutes in the game.
This is quite the long game here, and as you can see just how careful everyone's being. I mean, Immortalities are pretty much online again, so this is going to be the push and pull situation. R7 and Gear, their own eternal battle, trying to push the lanes out. Still, I mean, each base has one inhibitor turret down. It's just in different lanes, so they're playing around that, but still, it comes down to just look at the gold laners. There's so much reliance on both of them, and they're both doing it right now. So at the end of the day, it's going to come down to whichever one gets taken out. The hard part is both teams trying to find their targets because everyone's playing so defensively and carefully right now.
Agreed. This has got to be the longest game so far in MSC as of yet. And I feel like this is so difficult to watch, especially when all hands are on deck coming from EVOS SG. They need to make sure that Lemon gets taken out right from the get-go. And Lemon so far still doesn't have his immortality. And this is so frustrating to play. Just look at how Lemon positions himself every single time. With the sprint, with his mobility, he's just so quick and it's just so difficult to actually one-shot him right from the get-go. And I feel like the only one that can do it is pretty much Adamir. But every single time that happens, Adamir was forced in a situation to commit to fights with his teammates rather than going for those 1v1 pickoffs against Lemon.
Man, right now, I mean, look at Gear and R7 in the top lane, right? They're both literally just cutting the lanes. Meanwhile, everyone, the stalemate here at the pit, right? If we talk about it, it's going to be a stalemate pretty much for the longest time until someone decides to pull the trigger. It's just pretty much reliance on who does that, who has the initiative to actually start something and hope that they come out on top. Because when all these immortalities are reset, you might pull something amazing off, but because that immortality buys a little bit of time, it's really hard to capitalize on that to make it a numbers advantage. Look, right now, it's actually going to happen.
Yeah, it does seem like the Yin Yang overturn is going to use that for this game, but look at this. It is going to be the members coming in from RQ Hoshi being pinned down to that turret. But look at this, EVOS Singapore, they are able to get another trade on the board. 3 members taken down. This is a huge mistake for RQ Hoshi. This might be the moment that EVOS Singapore have been waiting for, the mistake, and this might be it.
Oh my goodness, patience paid off from Sayla. He waited for the push, he caught them all, and now 60 seconds on the sidelines with only Lemon to defend. So very difficult to do so, but now EVOS SG, they need some sort of minions to work with. Win is just blocking all the shots, keeping the minion alive. It's only 1 minute, but at the same time, what are they doing? EVOS SG, they're blocking the minions as well. Win, they have to finish them off. It's going to be A-okay, but once again, they need to buy some sort of time. They need some sort of minutes, and it is going to come in down as they push down towards the middle turret in this vicinity.
Oh my god, but look at this. All deck on board here. 2 members, but oh my god, that is going to be it. 1 mistake cost RRQ Hoshi the game. Evo Singapore with an upset victory is going to be taking this away from RRQ Hoshi. We have a series on our hands.
Yeah, it's been 3 games all the way through today. The whole day has been close matches after close matches. What a performance coming from both EVOS SG as well as RRQ, because that was a well-worth game for EVOS SG, man.
Who would have it another way, right? First day of the playoffs, every game goes the distance. You gotta say, you gotta give it up literally to Evo Singapore here. I mean, they take down the Kings of RRQ one game and they take it to a game 3. Look at that. I mean, Nick was making those plays on that Grok. I mean, he has to be proud of himself there, because it was literally, when it comes down to this moment, it was what, 37 minutes? It's pretty much a team effort here. Insane.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've just hit a brand new PCO record for the day with 1.5 million people watching live for this match. That was how close it got between RRQ as well as EVOS SG. What a game to be watching right now. What a day to be alive, Eterna.
That's day 1.
Yeah, it's only
That's
day
day
one.
one
day
of
one
the
of playoffs.
playoffs.
Let's go.
Let's go. Why not? 38 minutes in the game. Why not?
Let's do another one.
Yeah.
40 minutes
Let's take
this
it to
time
50.
for third game. 50 minutes. Let's test the limits. Let's go to an hour here between EVOS
Whoa,
Singapore as well as RRQ Hoshi, because they deserve that much attention.
Yep,
That was so well played by both of them.
Yep, at the same time, let's take a look at what the analyst has to say about that match.
Welcome to the post game here. I am shook because once again we are seeing an El Clasico that everybody knows and loves, but this time from their brothers from across the sea. It's crazy to see how long these games can go, man.
You're shocked, I'm Leo, you're Gideon, and we're about to break down that almost 40-minute matchup between EVOS, SG, and RRQ Hoshi. It was so easy. Honestly, it was so easy to say, oh, RRQ sweeping, man, especially with the way they played game number 1.
Absolutely.
But EVOS, SG, everyone from this majority SEA Games bronze medalist squad came in and just woke up.
It's huge. Honestly, I think it was huge plays being made all across the board. Yes, they did kind of have a slow start here, but once they started to pick up the pace, once they started to understand patterns and realize that even RRQ can bleed, they believed in themselves to take it to the next level, and this is what this squad was all about.
They took the Sangraja to the limit, and they took all of us to the limit, now reaching an all-time high for this MSC 2022. We've reached past 1-point-something million viewers. If you're watching with us from across the world, from the west, from the north, from the south, wherever you're from, yo, this is Mobile Legends Bang Bang. If we're not over the 3rd series of the night, Todak vs Omega, how much more this?
Yeah, I mean, everybody is coming guns blazing for MSC 2022. I cannot imagine what is the start for the rest of the year, but it's this moment that is keeping everybody at the edge of their seats here. I don't know, it's taking a while to compile all that data. The game was just that long, but the plays made consistently by EVOS, who's actually pressing the agenda in comparison to RRQ. That's what surprised me the most.
A few numbers we can look at is the KDA on Gear, who, by the way, was playing worth 3 or 4 heroes in the jungle on that Benedetta. He made us a believer when he brought out his signature hero in the World Championships, but now out of the jungle, he made so much for EVOS SG possible. He pushed, again, RRQ Hoshi, MPL ID Season 9 champions to the limit. Cleared waves, went deep in, and looking at his build, he went for all tank. It's an all-tank Benedetta.
Exactly. Benedetta, unfortunately, does not scale as hard as we want it to, so he's going to take those item power spikes as soon as possible throughout the mid game and slowly transition it into a tank build. With the score 21-21. What a game this is.
Looking at RRQ Hoshi, for a majority of this matchup, again, it was almost 40 minutes. You could have sworn it was theirs, right? They penetrated bottom relatively early into this game, but as soon as EVOS SG found their swing back, as soon as EVOS SG found that, hey, if we can protect Adamir long enough and we can make RRQ Hoshi frustrated enough to say, how about this, how about this, how about we fight this? Then we're on through something, right? RRQ Hoshi, for a long time, Clay was deathless, but to what to what end, right?
Yep.
The savior here in this game reminds us of the savior from the group stage we're in. Yes, there is CC. Yes, there is the magical Pew Pew TM, but it's just so hard to kill the members of EVOS SG, and it leads to not much.
Well, I mean, yes, it is difficult to kill their members, but you have to give credit where credit is due. Gear, in particular, was able to steal the Lord so many times. We were up to our 5th Lord at this point. Gear getting a majority of these plays. Well done for EVOS SG here. And I think even for RQ Hoshi, once they started to get nervous, you could definitely see them be a little hesitant to move forward and make those big plays.
I'd like to highlight as well JPL on that Akai.
Oh.
Prior to the series, I would have been sour on a roamer Akai, but here, with the way he played it, zoned out so many of RQ Hoshi. R7 is usually so good at finding his targets. With that Akai, with a heavy spin that he puts out just almost perfectly every single time, nothing. RQ Hoshi could do nothing to Sayla nor Adamir on the Beatrix. Looking at the stats, man, we're almost hitting millions on the damage dealt overall.
Yeah, we're getting super, super close to them. And I mean, everybody was playing a really strong game here. Overall, you would have thought that someone like Julian, for an example, would have scaled off and wouldn't be able to have as much impact as he did. But still, the Sangraja himself still able to pull out some very nutty plays, especially when it comes down to shutting down Sayla so he can't kill the one and only Lemon.
Damage taken, damage dealt. RQ Hoshi putting numbers on the board, but when it comes down to the execution, to making it work, to going to an end that is beneficial to your team, which is the game number 3, it all goes over to EVOS SG. Something to note as well, total heals. There's so much, 2.4k. Did anybody build a Sea Halberd? Did anybody build a Sea Halberd? Our MVP, Adamir, he has the Has Claws once more. This is where the Sea Halberd would have come in close. There's a clutch. There is a dominance ice somewhere in RQ Hoshi, but it's not enough.
It's really not enough. And Sayla having some of the most insane clutches I have seen on a Beatrix, getting chased so deep into the game where it matters the most, down to the wire it came to his life. But Adamir played it well. He had a team to back him up. And again, this Haas Claw build pickups from a lot of the marksman players here at MSC is really showing its value.
Once more, if you haven't heard the news yet, ladies and gentlemen, Haas Claws to the moon. It is literally just the hotness right now. Pick them up. I mean, it's not like it's scarce. You can buy it every game, but it's working for about 90% of marksmen right now.
I mean, the itemizations here is just one thing. There's so much happening. Let's check out the highlights here just for you guys.
40 minutes again, 38 something. We set the record earlier with RSG and Falcon, where we broke it. Well,
Yeah.
they broke it.
Well, they broke it constantly. I mean, again, they've already broken records here. This is an El Clasico of a lifetime. And, you know, EVO Singapore is really showing what they got, avenging their brothers one at a time. And I think for the majority of this game, RRQ had a lot of control of this one play here, making all the difference.
JPL set it up. The rest